This is your startup for week number 15. Number 1 says solve each proportion. Some of us are still having a difficulty seeing the fact that there are negatives out front, here and here. It does not matter where the negative goes, if it goes with the top number or the bottom number. So if you would like to, you can rewrite it on the top number or the bottom number. Like I said, whichever one you want to choose for it to go with. Now, for this particular problem, I would not have put the negative with the x minus 1. That just requires way more work. Okay? Now, then we cross multiply. So I'm going to have negative 8 times 8 minus 1 is equal to 3 times the negative x. So I have negative 8x plus 8 equals a negative 3x. Solve. I'm going to add 8x to both sides. So 8 is equal to 5x. So x equals 8 over 5. And I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction. I'm not going to put a decimal answer because there's that possibility that that decimal answer may be a repeating decimal, and that causes me to do more work. Moving on. Number 2, solve each proportion. Once again, we have a negative out front. I'm going to write it or allow it to go with the x, or not the x, sorry, the 10. So it's going to be negative 10x. Negative 10x, I'm sorry, negative 10 over x is equal to 7 over x plus 8. Now, do I have to rewrite it? No. If I remember and pay attention to when I'm multiplying, I'm going to say negative 10 times all of that, then that works just as fine. So that gives me negative 10 times x plus 8 equals 7x when I multiply those two together. Distributing negative 10x minus 80 is equal to 7x. I'm going to move the 10x or negative 10x over, so that's adding. So it gives us negative 80 equals 17x. So x will equal a negative 80 over 17. And I can leave it. It will not reduce. It will not simplify. So we're going to leave it just like that as our answer. Moving on. Number 3. It says state if the triangles in each pair are similar. There's our first question. So answer number 1 says state if they are similar. If so, state how you know they are similar and complete the similarity statement. So essentially this is a 3-part question, and a lot of you on your test and your previous startups, you're only answering one part, and so as far as startups are concerned, you're missing the whole thing. State if the triangles are similar. Now, with parallel lines, here and here, if they are cut by a transversal, that means alternate interior angles are congruent. And I know I already have vertical angles. So are they similar? Yes, they are similar. So if so, it says state how you know. Well, they are similar by angle-angle similarity. Angle-angle similarity is how I know they're similar. Because this angle is congruent to that angle by vertical angles, and then I can use these two angles are congruent to each other by alternate interior. And yes, even these two angles are congruent, but we only have to have 2 angles to prove by angle-angle similarity. So there's part 1 is to state, yes it was. And what have I told you? If they are similar, you don't have to write yes. Go to part number 2, which is this right here. Angle-angle similarity. The third part, it says complete the similarity statement. Down here, it says triangle UTS is similar to what? Well, let's clean this up. Made those marks a little bit too big. This one is to this one. We've got this one and that one. So now, UTS. So we're going from U to T to S in that direction. So notice that U corresponds to U. So it's going to be triangle U. And here's T. So what corresponds to T? M. And then L is left. So there's my parts that I have to have. I have to have triangle UML and angle-angle similarity. Moving on. Number 4. Find the missing length. The triangles in each pair are similar. We are looking for the question mark, which is X right here. We're looking for DF. We're looking for segment DF. So I have to match up corresponding parts. 16 corresponds to X. I know. Right? And then 88 would correspond to 143. Or if some of you see it as, hey, 16 corresponds to 88. Those are the two sides right here. So then X and 143. It's the same thing because notice what two numbers I'm multiplying together. Those two and those two. So I'm still going to get the same solution. Let me clean it up so I got more room. So I'm going to have 16 times 143 is equal to 88x. And if we multiply 16 times 143, I get 2288. So 2288 equals 88x. Solve for x by dividing by 88. And I got 26. Hopefully my math is correct. All right, moving on. Number 5. It says solve for x. The polygons in each pair are similar. So therefore we have to set up proportions. 7 corresponds to 5x minus 2. 8 corresponds to 32. So we set up our cross products. So we multiply 7 times 32 is equal to 8 times 5x minus 2. And I'm going to distribute the 8. So that gives me 40x minus 16. And then I'm going to multiply 7 times 32. That gives me 224. I have to add 16 to both sides. So that gives me 240. It's equal to 40x. So x would equal 6. Number 6. Solve for x. The triangles in each pair are similar. The main thing with similarity is what I've stressed, is matching up corresponding parts. So 48 corresponds to 18. 7x minus 2 corresponds to 36. So we have our cross products here. So we're going to say 48 times 36. 7x minus 2 times 18. So 48 times 36. 1728. And then we distribute 18 times 7, 126. 18 times 2 is 36. So we have to add 36 to 1728. That gives us 1764. I'm sorry, there's supposed to be an x there, my bad. Equals 126x. So we divide x equals 14. That is your startup for week number 15.